Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. We are once again here with a seminar, a talk that Professor Angela Romay is going to talk to you about what we said is the topic English, applied linguistics for inclusive education. It's important to know about this topic, to be a good professional, and continue improving our English as well day by day. So, welcome, Professor. We can start. Welcome to Linguistic Department. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, I will.
You went to drink chocolate.
Okay, so, well, I don't know if it's okay like that, or do you need the microphone? Can you hear me well? Yeah. Okay, I think it's better because sometimes I can move and I can have some noise there if it's off, right? Well, the topic is really, I don't know, maybe to me it's really essential and important for us to know, but I think that I will consider some things that you may know. That's why I always, when I start any kind of workshop or something like that, a kind of seminar or speech, I always mention that we're still learning with this part. So I would like to start, first of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Angela Romay. Okay, I have been working as a teacher for more than, I think for about 22 years, right? So I have been working in different places. And I will tell you all my experience, but the last part related to my experience is focusing on inclusive education, right? Which I consider really, really essential in this part of teaching and learning area. So considering that, as Professor Theodosia mentioned, the topic that I will deal with is applied linguistics for inclusive education. So let's start. We have some agenda related to that. As you can see, I think I'm wrong here. I will be like that. So we will have like feeling experience, applied linguistics. That's why this is a term I'm using for this presentation. Disability inclusion, reasonable accommodation, adapted material, and collaborative learning. And of course, the last part will be like questions and answers, right? Do you have other important tool? Or you can help me with that, maybe. So when I say next, you'll help me with that part. Feeling experience. Have you ever imagined? Can you close your eyes for a moment, please? Close your eyes. All right. All of you close your eyes. We will feel that experience. That of course we won't understand if we don't feel that. So how they feel if they cannot see, how they feel if they cannot hear. What kind of classes we can give them. So could you continue, please? Open your eyes now. We will have this versatility experience, right? In this part, I need you to work in verse. So could you please work with the person that is next to you? So you work together. You can work with her if you want. You can work together. So 2 and 2. You work with her. You work with her. You work with the lady that is in the back. You together. You together. All right? Over there, 2, 2. What is the purpose of that? You will find these objects. Okay? So what I want you to do is to determine who will see and who won't see. So imagine that you are a blind person. So you have to close your eyes. Could you please determine who is who? So you can work with the person that I assign you to work, and you will tell the person, yeah, you will see, I will guide you. So you will be the guide person. Do you understand what I mean? Yes? I will give you like 1 minute, that is too much. 40 seconds to determine who is who. But it's important for you to have those roles because I will hide these two objects and you have to find by being guided by the other person. Okay? You understand what I said? Yes? So 40 seconds, work with the person and determine who sees and who doesn't this. Go ahead, go ahead. 40 seconds, work together, work together. Determine. I told you to work with. I told you to work with. You understand me or not? Yes? I know you saw it. It's okay, you understand me, yes? Thank you for helping me. All right. If I'm speaking too fast, let me know, right? So the purpose is that you learn. Do you understand when I speak? Yes? So? Do you want me to slow down? Yes? All right. Or do you want me to use the microphone? It's better for you. Okay, so I think it's better? Yes? You can hear me better. So I will repeat the instructions again. The purpose of this activity is that you feel how the person without sight, I mean like a blind person, or I mean visually person can feel. So this is the purpose of this activity. So for that reason, I want you to work in pairs, decide, I see, you don't. So you will guide me in that way. That's okay? Yes? All right. So that's why I gave you 40 seconds for this activity. Let's start. So now, this is what you have to do. Can you help me please? Stand up. Stand up. Pay attention to me. Everybody has to do this, all right? I am the blind person. I don't see anything. He will guide me to walk. For that reason, he has to use a lot of prepositions, like go straight ahead, turn right, turn left, because I don't see. That's okay? Can you guide me? Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Yeah, I heard like, okay, this is English avanzado. No worries, we are practicing, okay? So if you don't understand, I will help you, of course, right? So, guide me. I don't see. I want to go to the flag, the last flag. Yes.
Left, right?
Turn right.
Right.
That, okay. Okay. How do you say ir directo?
Go straight.
All right, go straight, go straight. If your guide is back, I will fall down. All right, okay. Turn left. Turn left.
Stop.
Okay.
Over.
Turn right. No problem.
Stop.
Okay. Okay. It's on my right side or my left side?
Left.
Left side. Okay. Now it's on my right. Okay? Yes, this is what I want. Yes, okay, the class. Thank you so much. What's your name? Robert. Thank you so much. That's what I want you to do. Okay? Now, can I have some volunteers or all of you want to participate? Volunteers? Yes, try. What's the problem? These are my baby toys. I don't want them to get lost. Okay, let's work like that very fast because then I have to explain many things to you. Pretend what we did together, now you have to do. So stand up and find the objects. Stand up. One person guides, the other closes the eyes. Go ahead. Stand up. Move on. Stand up. Good morning. Guide them. But I will need this, one moment please. I think it's more difficult there, so I will. Don't see. You don't have to see, only the other person has to see. I will. But don't look at anything. Alright. Now you have 2 minutes to do it, all right? So guide the person, go ahead. Go ahead, guide the person, guide the person. Go ahead, go ahead. Start. Move on, yes. Guide your partner. Guide. Go ahead, everybody, guys. One person is blind. Okay, that's good. Close your eyes. Good, very good. Yeah, good. Great. Excellent, very good. Yeah, good, excellent, good. Thank you so much. What about you? But you have to close your eyes. You have to know turn right, turn left. That's the idea, right? Try to do that. Try, practice your English. It's okay? No. But some people live like that. Live in that way. Okay? And sometimes they are isolated from the society just for that disability. But here we are to help them to continue their profession. This is the purpose, the main purpose of this. Now, second part, how did you ensure for the guides? For example, in your case, you were the blind person, right? How you felt? Good, bad? You were sure about the instructions? You trusted her? And how she felt? For example, in my own experience, he told me turn right, turn left. He confused because he made me move like that, right? And sometimes that's not okay because like I think that he's mocking of me. Se burla de mí, I think so, but no, because it's instructions. Okay? So, could you please work just 2 minutes with the person that is next to you and give your opinions, like how did you feel? The ones who close their eyes and the ones who guide them. You can use simple words. I think it was good. I think the experience was terrible. I cannot imagine myself blind. But disability can happen at any time. We are not sure that, for example, tomorrow, God, I hope not, right? I can have a disability, right? So we don't know. We are not sure. So facing that, we have to give a space to all of them to be part of our society as well. 2 minutes, can you discuss? If you don't understand, raise your hands. I will go to help you. Can we start? All right, go ahead. 2 minutes. Start. What do you want? For a moment, you don't have to write. My history of what is your level? English 1? What is your level? English 1? I want to ask you one question. What is your English level? English 1? 1. Yeah. That's why you are, Angela, what are you doing? Yeah, okay. They told me the presentation in English. That's why I'm doing everything in English, right? But when I speak, do you understand me? Yes? It's okay, but it's difficult for you to produce. But you understand me? Okay, yeah, so we work like that. Now, can I have some volunteers? Opinions? No? All right, that's good. Go ahead. Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Good morning, all right.
Good morning,
Right.
good morning, student. My opinion is very difficult, don't you say, but it's very excellent for example, for speaking in English, but for this, for the partner, yes, it's excellent. Yes,
Good, all right, that's good. Thank you. The main purpose of this activity is that you feel that, que sientan eso. Que sientan lo que una persona con una cierta discapacidad siente. ¿Ok? Generalmente nosotros, we have everything, thank goodness, but in my case, and other people who wear glasses, we have a disability. Porque sin glasses, we cannot see. All right? Ya es una discapacidad. No necesariamente la discapacidad se habla de que sean totalmente ciegos. Ya con mis lentes, tengo mi discapacidad. Si yo como teacher traigo, I bring, I don't know, a kind of material that is small, I am against that person. Porque hay personas que no pueden ver de tipo. So all those things is considering applied linguistics. All right? So I will make a Spanish, right? Okay? I don't like to have Spanish, but I will now. So let's move on. Let's move on. Next. Okay. All right. What is applied linguistics? ¿Qué es la lingüística aplicada? What's applied linguistics? A ver, recuerden su clase. What's applied linguistics? All right. If you can tell me in English, great. If you can say in Spanish, no problem. Go ahead. Braille applied linguistics. Yeah, Braille. All right, yeah, okay. But my question itself is, what is the concept of applied linguistics? All right. Yeah, okay. So I do agree with what you said, right? And can you continue, please? Are you okay? Yes? He has, it's okay? Okay. So, applied linguistics. Applied, out of battery. Applied linguistics is a field of our career of linguistics. ¿Ya pasaron lingüística aplicada? ¿No? Ya. Lingüística aplicada es un área donde nos permite nosotros, porque ella mencionaba, tomar en cuenta muchos aspectos de la lingüística para el proceso de enseñanza. This is applied linguistics. Ustedes en una cierta temporada ya van a empezar a hacer, tal vez, dedicarse al área de lingüística aplicada, que es lo que yo estoy haciendo. Teacher instruction, right? And in that point, for example, it says here, I am working on applied linguistics but for inclusive education. What is the purpose of that? I feel focused on solving language-related problems in society and education. Normally a class, thank you. Normally a class, so you have students who don't have any kind of disabilities. That's what we think, right? But we have them as well. In that case, as I mentioned before, we have to consider that linguistics applied integrates linguistics itself, education, psychology, and sociolinguistics. So all the aspects that we have to consider are in this part of applied linguistics. What do I mean with that? Cuando ustedes enseñen, les va a tocar una persona, un estudiante con una discapacidad. ¿Y qué van a hacer? ¿Qué hacen? ¿Cuál sería su primera forma de trabajar con ese estudiante? What you can do. Adaptarnos a su discapacidad. That's really good. What else? What else? Lingüística implies everything. Linguistics, right? No solamente es que van a ser docentes. Depends on you. You know that you can be translators, right? You can work on research, investigation. So it depends on you. In my case, my area is applied linguistics. That's what I do, and that's what I love doing for more than 22 years old, 22 years, right? So in this part, it's important to think about many things, about psychological part. Now, you can say, teacher, but we don't have people with disabilities in classes. Maybe one here. ¿Han tenido un compañero con alguna discapacidad? Yes, ¿qué discapacidad? Ok. ¿Y qué hacía el profesor? ¿Ya? ¿Tomaron cursos para eso? Great. Okay, that's a good teacher. Okay, alguien que se preocupó. Porque generalmente, ¿qué hace? One professor or one instructor says, okay, one moment please, go there. Te voy a pasar algo allá. That's what they do. Y lo ponen a un lado. So everybody is separated. Now, we have to consider many things in this part. People with disabilities, we have a lot. There's a huge kind of classification related to that. So, next please. In this part, it's essential to mention inclusive education, which is really important. Maybe for some people, it's not important, but to me, it's essential. When I have one student, when I receive, for example, 20 students like that, I always notice how they feel. For that reason, when I enter the class, I say, how are you? Are you okay? And they say, yes. But if I see that he looks different, I focus my attention. Because in my point of view, it's not just coming to teach you something. You are part of my class, everyday class. So you are important to me. So if I feel him sad, I'm so sure that he had a problem at home. Even it could be like really silly means stupid. He broke up with his girlfriend. Rompió con su chica. Today it's an important test. De este examen depende que él pase o no. How does he feel? Rompió con su chica. ¿Cómo se siente él? Sad. Ready to take a test? No, because he's sad. And is that a problem important? Yes, for him it's important. And if I am a teacher that doesn't care about what he feels, I would say, that's stupid, take your test, forget that girl. But I know, because emotions are part of the class as well. That's why we have emotional learning. I need to understand how he feels. And this is part of inclusion as well. It's not just disabilities at all. Now, when I talk about inclusive education, I'm talking about access to all learners. So the material I have is good for everybody, not just for me. In this auditorium, there is a problem. There are some people who are short, and they are like that. Some people who are tall. So the ones who are at the back cannot see. And this is not inclusion either. ¿Qué pasaría si yo no tuviera una pierna? ¿Qué tengo que utilizar para subir acá? Bueno, wheelchair, tal vez una silla de ruedas, muletas. Okay, and does the place give me, I mean, do we have an inclusive place to come here? No. So when we talk about inclusive education, there are a lot of aspects that unfortunately in our society people don't consider. Not only the universities. Sometimes, probably once, you have broken your legs, se rompieron tu piecito, right? And you have to use crutches, muletas. So coming here, 3 floors, poor of you. When I was pregnant, estaba embarazada last year, one of the elevators didn't work. I had to go there 3 floors every time. That was hard. So, when we talk about inclusive education, it's access for all learners, respect for diversity. We have to respect the others. Respect, including disability, culture, and language. When I mention the term inclusion, I'm talking about now disability, but I have to talk about other kind of people as well, about culture. Probably you focus on that part in any kind of class that you have. And as I said, I will focus on disability now, but it's not just that inclusion. In our class, we can have, for example, lesbians, we can have gays, and we have to be open-minded to them. Even in a class, when I have to make matches, cuando hago parejas en una, I don't know, it's a kind of activity that I have. What will happen if my student says he, for example, he says, I love him. Tal vez se equivocó el him, se olvidó que era her, pero tal vez es him. Tal vez le gusta un chico. And it's not bad. I have to respect his likes, I have to respect the point of view he has. That is respecting, that is inclusion as well. To give opportunity to everyone. Next, reasonable accommodation and universal design. This part is really essential. Everybody deserves to have a place in any kind of educational place. So that is reasonable accommodation. That all of us can have the same chance to be here. Then universal design, maybe you have heard about it, el famoso diseño universal, that give access to everyone to be part of a class, right? Participation, collaboration, and flexibility. When I start my classes, I always ask my students 3 things: principles, responsibility, honesty, and what is honesty? As I said, responsibility, punctuality, of course, I ask them, and they have to be empathetic, empathy. How you feel in the other place, right? When you work in English classes, it may happen to you. It's always in pairs. And maybe the person who is next to you is a person who you have never worked with. So in classes, I say, you work with him. I always assign people to work with different people. What for? Collaboration is important. They have to know how to deal with other people. And when they start, they always say, oh, no, no me cae. And I said, this is not a school, no me cae, no me cae. This is another vision, university vision. Cuando trabajes, no van a decir, no me cae, no voy a trabajar. No, you have to work with everyone. So you have to know how to work. That's why collaboration is important. Then, focus on removing barriers rather than fixing the student. Well, this is kind of hard because we have to focus on the student, of course, but we need to give them adequate material, the place where to come, which is sometimes is kind of hard in our universities, and not only here, because I work at this university, of course, right? But other universities as well, because of our problems we have with the barriers. in all the infrastructure we have, right? Next please. Now, terminology. When you see a person, I mean, walking on the street who cannot see, what is the word that you address to that person? ¿Cómo lo llaman? No lo conocen, ¿cómo los llaman? How do you call them? ¿Qué les dicen? Personas, cuando ven al cieguito, ¿qué dicen? Ahí está un discapacitado, ok. Other term, invidente, ok, la persona, all right. ¿Qué más? Ciego. Ok, personas con capacidades diferentes. Those are the terms that are incorrect to use now. No se dice invidente, no se dice discapacitado y no se dice especial. Porque todos somos especiales. We are special, right? So when we call a person like disabled, discapacitado, handicapped, discapacitado, special needs, this is the term that everybody uses, personas con necesidades especiales. It's not correct. All right? It's good to say ciego. Suena fuerte, pero es ciego. No hay invidente ni no vidente. According to the law, es una persona ciega. That's correct. Y no es ofensivo, pero suena. It sounds like that, right? No. Sordo. No puedo escuchar. No. What it says, the term is the term. Nowadays, there is a new term for this kind of people that we can say like exceptional learners. This is the term that we use now. And it says, according to the Hallahan and Kaufman Poland, it says exceptional learners is the term used in the United States to refer to students with disabilities. Exceptional learners. This is now the term. And in our Spanish, if you see a person, don't say discapacitado, deshabilitado. I don't know, we use a lot of terms. Especial. No. These terms were old. At the beginning, they were like, people with disabilities were considered like a kind of curse, una maldición, in the beginning of the history. That's why they were sent to other places. Los mandaban a lugares alejados, porque pensaban que eran malditos. That was the idea, right? Si tenían síndrome de Down and so on, they were sent like that. They were inherited. After that, thanks to many people, and people with disabilities, one of them is Louis Braille, as you know. He, unfortunately, he had an accident when he was a child. His father was a shopkeeper, and he was like sewing something, and unfortunately the needle got his eye, so he became blind. But he didn't stop there, right? He wanted to do something, and thanks to him, blind people have the part of brain system, and they can work on that part. Next, please. Why is applied linguistics important to these parts of inclusion? When we talk about, it's important to understand how learners acquire language differently. All right? I have to adapt everything according to what I have. Design accessible teaching strategies based on linguistic and cognitive principles. I mentioned before, applied linguistics is an area of field that you will deal with later, and that's important as well. We have to adapt input, interaction, and output according to student needs. It's really important to deal with the students' needs, because in that way we will understand what they need. In any class we have, no matter the disability they have, we have to focus on this part. So what they need according to the things that we have in classes. It doesn't matter the course we have, right? Then develop inclusive assessment. The idea to evaluate these kind of people is not just to give them like, okay, you can pass, oh, poor person. That's what some teachers do, unfortunately. Ah, no, no puede, ¿qué pasa el pobrecito? This is not the idea. Because that person has to, that person will live by himself or herself, and he needs all the tools to survive. And if we, as teachers, do our best, he will use even English or any kind of profession they have. According to the law 223, everybody has the right to receive education, not just at school, but university as well. According to one of the resolutions that we have at the university, all students with disabilities must enter the university without any kind of test or something like that, because they need to have the same opportunity as everybody has, right? Now, we can support multilingual and neurodiverse learners with evidence-based approaches. Nowadays, in applied linguistics, we have different kinds of approaches, right? We have communicative approach, we have task-based learning approach, and all of them have to be combined. That's why we have the eclectic approach that combines all the approaches in order to give the opportunity to students to succeed. Next, please. Disability. What is disability? Although I was talking about like inclusion, doesn't deal with just disability. It deals with even respecting culture without discriminating others just because of the color of face they have, or maybe because of last names. Here I'm focusing on disability itself, right? That's what I have been doing for more than 5 years. Could you continue, please? Disability inclusion. What it means that physical, attitudinal, and financial barriers don't inhibit learners, right? With disabilities from participating together in the class. So when I have my class, that's my purpose. That every member of my class can have the same opportunity, no matter the disability or the condition he or she has. If you check the picture that you have there, all of them are together, collaborating, cooperating, accepting each other. That's why I talk about attitude, right? And here, the participation has to be general. Now, for example, I don't have the chance to talk to you. Maybe in a workshop we can do that and have more activities. That would be better. Next, please. If you have any questions there, just stop me, no problem. Are we okay? Yes, do you understand what I'm speaking? Yes? It's okay? Or do you prefer my Spanish?
No.
No? It's okay there? All right. Yeah, I was speaking in Spanish at the beginning because they didn't understand some parts, sorry. Now, when I talk about disability, I'm so sure that something comes to your mind, like, disability. That's blind people and hearing impairment people. So just that. We have a lot of disabilities. According to WHO, we have international classification of functioning, disability, and health. Considering that we have the first one and the second, which are almost related, mobility and physical impairment. People who cannot walk, people who use wheelchairs. This is related to spinal cord disability as well. Head injuries, brain disability. Maybe they have some brain lapsing, that as we call that, the brain lapsing. Maybe they have some problems with memory. Vision disability, people who cannot see. Are you okay there, or do you want to come here? It's okay? All right. Hearing disability. When we talk about hearing disability, we have to talk about the voice as well. Some people can hear, and some people cannot hear anything. Some people are what we call in Spanish hypoacúsicos. So they use a kind of device in order to hear. So it's very different. Now, as I told you, I have my disability. I wear glasses for that. But my degree is different from a person who is totally blind. Now, cognitive disability, dyslexia, dyscalculia, we have dyslexia and so on, right? Psychological disorders. Nowadays, I think this is a very common problem we have in classes. I always receive some kinds of report from the department where I work, and they say, okay, so Angela Romay has this diagnosis, depression, bipolar state, and I have to work with that person. Sometimes that person feels really anxious and just stands up and goes outside. I have to know how to work with that person, right? Besides that, I have some students who have like suicides attempts. And what I do in my classes is I always do that, right? So I try to make them feel like really happy. Like, stand up, okay, go ahead. And I remember that once, this is a kind of an anecdote that I have. She was always smiling in my class. And then I received the report, and it says, she has this, like, a suicide attempt, depression. The name was really hard because it was psychological term, like depression, suicide, like that. I said, oh my God. And I talked to her and I asked her, are you okay? She said, yes. All right. I cannot deal with everything, right? So then she was from Potosi. Potosi is a place. I'm not from Potosi, but I love Potosi because of my daddy, right? So it's like a feeling I have. And she started crying that moment. I was like shocked. I didn't know what to do. And I said to her, but you always smile in my class, you're always happy there. And she told me something that's why I love what I'm doing. I love your classes. And I forget everything. And I said, oh, I remember those words and they were really touching to me. And I said, okay, I'm doing something good. So those kinds of things affect the students. For that reason, I repeat again. So we as teachers are not just come to class and say, okay, open your books, okay, grammar, this is, and bye. I don't do that. Personally, I don't do. Sometimes I'm not just an instructor, I'm a psychologist because I hear all the students when they do that. And why? Because I have to consider the psychological problems they have. I mentioned before that if he breaks up with his girlfriend, he will be affected. The test will be 0. But do you think that this test will tell me how good he is? Maybe during the classes he was excellent, but just for that test he can fail? No. That is inclusion. I have to understand my students as well. Invisible disabilities, familiar problems. Fortunately, I think that sometimes I say, guys, we always have problems. Do you have problems? Or you are happy? Yeah, we're happy, but with problems, right? This is the way we have to live. But it can affect. Personally, when my daddy passed away, we have 3 days to return to work, and then you have to smile again, right? With your broken heart, you have to smile. But I was like pretending, working, but my students made me forget. Not forgetting, I think deal with that part. That is really hard for everyone who misses a kind of body, right? So all this part, this classification, makes us understand that the part of inclusion involves a lot of things to understand the person that is in classes. Right? Next, please. We have 2 models of disability. One of them is medical model disability and social model disability. When we talk about medical model disability, we talk about doctors, all the medication they have, right? In a way, maybe the person is with psychological disorder, maybe they have kind of treatment. This is the medicine or the medical or the doctor's part. This is our area, social model disability. You see disability as human rights. We have to give them the opportunity to be part of the place where everybody must be. And in that way, we collaborate with our society. Next. And this is like social justice. At the beginning, when I started working on this, in this area, it was hard because I didn't know how to. It was difficult. I wasn't trained because we as teachers, we don't have any kind of training to deal with these students. It's really hard, right? But I started like searching information, and then now I'm trying to do my best to work with them. I will say I'm an expert because I consider that I learn every time because I have different students. So one is very different from the other. Next, please. And like considering all the things that I said, reasonable accommodation is essential. And what it means. Next, please. Refers to modification or adjustment to a course program. That is really important, to modify or adjust our program so that everybody has the same opportunities to work in classes. That's what we have to design. And if I read that, it says like activity that enables a qualified student with a disability to have an equal opportunity. Equal opportunity is essential. I know that some of you are here just because your teacher said, okay, extra points, extra points, extra points. That's why some of you are like doing all the homework and the lady who is behind. She's not paying attention, but maybe one day she will say, okay, so that was important, right? I'm a teacher who knows how you work because that's why my students say, teacher, you are unable. Yes, I know who is paying attention, who's not, because I always walk around there to see that. But in this part, access is important. Opportunity is important. And if we continue reading, it says to access and use benefits and services that are available to similarly situated students without disabilities. This is what we have to do to work together. That if I am blind, I'm not considered like a weird person. If I'm lesbian, I'm not considered a weird person. I am part of the society with all the conceptions I have. We know that, for example, in our university, and I have that experience, to say gays and lesbians is really hard. They don't accept that for culture. Aymara's culture. In Aymara's culture, we just have two things. Warmi, chachawarmi. Is it sir? Yes? We don't have others. But sometimes we have. In our classes, we have. Do you have to isolate them? No. They have to be part of the class. Next, please. In this part, it's our empowerment. We have to work on that as teachers. Building confidence in teachers to reach their goals. When we have these students, we say, no, I don't know Braille, I don't know the sign language, I can't, sorry. For example, if the director says, Angela, you have 2 blind students, and I will say, I don't know Braille, impossible, no, you have to maybe hire another person, not me. I don't have time. I have 100 students, no time. So what's my purpose? What kind of instructor I am if I do that? I have to build the confidence. I am not an expert on brain system, but I use technology with them. So I learn how to. I understand, but I'm not an expert to say, oh yes. For example, she said, and I like that the instructor she had at school, the teacher have all of them to use sign language. I know something like thank you, but in Spanish and English is different. In English you say thank you like that. So, but it's good what the other teacher needs. Now, empowerment is a process whereby teachers begin to take charge of their growth and resolve their problems. I consider that maybe our authorities can give us some training on that. But sometimes they don't have even that experience. So, but I cannot say to stop teaching them just because of that. Where I am, where is my professionalism? I have to work on that as well. Nowadays, we have a lot of articles related to inclusive education that can help us do this as well. Next. When we work in classes, it's important the material. I told you that, right? If you are teachers, suppose that in the future, in 4 years more, you will be teachers. What material can be good for students with disabilities? What material can be good? Go ahead. Yeah. All right. That's good. For blind people, I have to describe everything. Everything. Close your eyes one moment. Close your eyes. I will explain something to you. Close your eyes. All right? Imagine what I will say, and then you will tell me if it was the same. This is an auditorium. There are about 50 chairs, and the director is on the on the right side of you, and on the other side we have a person who's helping us with the computer and everything. Behind you, you have some students who are paying attention. Next to you, you have one who is sleeping. And next to you, what else I can say? At the bottom of the auditorium, there are some professors who are paying attention. This is the way a blind person has to be guided. The first day of classes, go ahead. If she were blind, I have to explain the classroom to her. Like on this side, you have the desk. On the other side, you have, maybe 4 or 5 desks. Instructions are important for them. Otherwise, they will have problems of moving everywhere. In English classes, what we do is stand up, move on, talk to each other. This is our English class. English class is not what we are doing now, sitting. No, English class is not this. English class is stand up, work with the other person, move there, move there. This is English class. If the English class is really active. But if it's just like traditional English class, you are sitting all the time. But that blind person, you can say, no, I don't have to move her because she will have problems. But if I tell her how many chairs she has to move, if there is a space there, they won't have any troubles on doing it. Have you ever seen a blind person crossing the street? Cruzando la calle, yes? And when you say, can I help you? Say, no, I'm okay. They are very rude, right? Why? Why they are rude? Why they don't accept the help? Why? ¿Por qué no aceptan nuestra ayuda? Why they say, no, it's okay, I can. Why?
Because he thinks that he can.
Exactly. In our perception, we say, oh, poor person. She can, or he can, but he. And they know the street, you say, how they see the streets, how they can be guided, how they know where to go. Because maybe the first time somebody somebody guided them and told them how the place is, where to go, and that's why they were guided with instructions. Have you ever seen a blind person drunk? Can they drink? Can they drink? No Coca-Cola, spiritual drinks. Chelitas like that, yes? Of course, they drink. And they get drunk, totally. Totally. Because their life is as our life. They have parties, they can get drunk as we do. I remember that once I had experience there, and it was at IBC, IBC. They were drinking, and I was surprised they drink, but even when you are drunk, you don't know where to go, right? You everything when you are drunk, and they don't see what they do, right? So that's really hard. And I remember that I asked the person and I said, "Are you okay? Do you need any help?" No, just guide me to the light, a la luz. Where is the light? Come on. And I was really shocked, amazed, and surprised that the light is the same as the light we have. And that's something we have to consider. Don't look at a person with disability and say, pobrecito. Don't say that anymore. They can do everything, but they need just modifying some things, adapting some things, and they will do their best. Talking about that, I know that some of you are tired. When you think about inclusive material, pay attention to the kind of disability the person has and the degree is really important. If the person is blind, totally blind, the person doesn't know colors because the person was blind when the person was born. So doesn't know anything. If you say red, how difficult it is to tell them red. They don't know what red color is because they were blind since the time they were born. But it's different from a person who had an accident and became blind. So we need to know those details in order to prepare the material for them. Next, determine the background. I can bring technology, but what it can happen if the person doesn't have any cell phone? I have to know. Sorry, I love them, okay? They are my life. I miss. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down, Papa. Sit down. All right. He wants to pay attention to. Okay. Determining the background is really important, right? So I can do my best to bring some material, but if it's really expensive, the person won't be able to get that, right? Okay. Then he's looking for someone, maybe his owner or her owner, what is here in classes. Time is essential. I don't remember, I'm not sure if you remember one part that I said, inclusive assessments. And I'm so sure that, for example, if I give him and say, okay, you pass the course because you have a disability, but you were doing everything to pass the course, but you couldn't, you will say, it's not fair to do that. Because he didn't do anything, I did everything. Is it fair? No. He, as a person with disability, has to do everything the same as he or she did. And if he fails, it's because he's not ready for the other course. But he needs more time. Because if I give him a test, a blind person, for example, I give him a test, he will be like, he needs a computer. He needs a program, NVDA. The computer will talk to him. And talking, listening, takes more time than in my case that I have to complete everything. So we need time for that. Evaluation is important. I have to consider on this part and methodology as well. Next, please. Teacher educational needs. When we are teachers, we should consider those things, understanding disability and social justice. Not just as we said at the beginning, like medication, treatment, social justice, give them the opportunity. Responding to learner diversity, what we said, all the disabilities we have. Impairment knowledge and pedagogy. It's important to read. If I have, for example, a person with, I don't know, dyscalculia, and I have never known that term, I need to research information to help him or help her. That's my job as well. I don't have to be on the comfort zone. Oh no, I have these students and I always do that and that's all. If I love what I do, I have to research and help them, of course. Knowledge of assistive devices. There are some traditional teachers who don't want to use technology in classes. But if it helps, it's a must to do it, to learn how to use that. Next, please. In your case, learner support needs. A person with disability needs psychological support. It's essential. I don't know if we have here in the department. I haven't heard that at Romay we have a specific place for people with disabilities. We don't have yet. Am I right? We don't have, right? Or do we have? Yes? Oh, great. Yeah.
She's blind.
Oh, but do you have a department that helps them?
No.
Yeah. In other places, they have. Like, for example, I have a disability, I go to the department and they tell the teachers, the professors, I have Romay has this disability. You can work with that. You can do this. You can do that. And they help me to know my student. And that's essential. Next, impairment-specific curriculums, universal design. We have to adapt the program in order to help them as well. Adapting of learning and teaching support materials. This is one of my materials. Sorry, I didn't bring for you to feel brave. Next time, hope so. And what I do in my classes is that I have a copy or a handout. My handout is in black and braille. Okay, let's see. She's in the last part. All right, okay. So, and nowadays it's not that it's not expensive as it was. It used to be. Why? Because a handout you can print in black, like with the type part, and in braille. So that part, that paper can be for both, for a person who can see and for a person who cannot see, and that's really good. This is like inclusive material. Access to assistive technology, MBDA. Maybe in another opportunity we can do with this so we can know how to use MBDA for a blind person if you have that maybe in your university or in your career. Next, please. There are a lot of materials we can use. I will suggest some of them. You can use for a blind person, for visually impaired students, audio lessons, everything dealing with listening because they cannot see. Screen readers and voice synthesizers such as NVDA, this is with the computer. The computer reads everything and they can do everything. Classes. Do you remember the pandemic time? Yes, I had 3 blind students and they were excellent. And when I was sharing the screen, I said, okay guys, look at the picture has a cat on the other side. And one of them said, sorry teacher, why do you describe the picture if we can see? And I told him, are you sure that everybody can see? And the student was quiet. When we finished classes, I told them that we have 3 blind students in English. And they were totally surprised because they never said, people with disabilities or people who have the extraordinary learners, don't ask for less homework. They always ask for more because they are really responsible as well. Jaws is in your cell phone. Maybe you have seen that some blind people use their cell phones all the time. They have Facebook, Zoom, and everything because there is an application that all of us have, and this is JAWS. You can go to the setting parts, and you will find JAWS. You activate, and the cell phone will say, it's 12:51, call, response, everything. That's why they use the cell phones better than us sometimes, without any problems. Then we have other reader machines, COBA, voice recorders, handouts in Braille. And this is the material that I talk about. That's what we call black, negro, that they call, and Braille. So if you see, you can read. If you don't see, you can read too. And here's the material. Next, please. Material for hearing impaired students. Now, for example, I'm working with one student who has this problem, and he uses a device. The device is for both. He uses on his cell phone. I have a device that I put on my clothes, and he can read everything that I am saying in English. The bad part is of that student that when he went, now he's my student in advanced course. What is the problem? That they use the typical word poor guy, and they let him pass without level. That's his problem, because his attitude is the best one. What he did is that I talked to his mom, and I said, yes, he can do it. And she told me, thank you for making him be part of the class, because he feels that he has friends. He is not a child. He is like 24 years old, but he works with everyone. The problem is the level. For that reason, the ones who are teachers, we have to know something. Don't say poor guy. Remember that this is his profession, and that's what we have to give them. They have to work alone without any mom or father, because they will die one day, so they need to survive by themselves. All these devices, assistive devices, as you can see, can be for hearing impaired students. Next, please. The last part, collaborative learning. We have talked about adapting material, applying linguistics, we mentioned everything, and what is the purpose of that? Enhance engagement and motivation. In my point of view, I'm really motivated to work with these students, and this is a topic that I'm really fascinated with. Social integration. Everybody has to be part of the society. Development of social skills. Although that, for example, my student who has hearing impairment disability, I make him work on everything. Of course, listening, no, because he can't. That's what I have to understand. But I have to give him the same amount of work as the others have. Increased confidence. Tell your students that they can, and the others will be motivated. When they are devastated just because they break up with a girlfriend, what the other person cannot see, they can do it. And I want to finish with these phrases. Inclusive educators believe in valuing students' differences and supporting their learning needs in the greatest extent possible. I have that video that I like because that was my beginning of teaching English to blind people. For my master, I finished my thesis in this area, and I work with blind people. That was my first experience, like unforgettable one. And since that, I've started working with people with these disabilities. Next, please. I consider this phrase really essential. What you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments. I don't want like suppose, right? Like, I don't know. I'm going to make this Angela Romay invented this. I don't want that. But what is woven into the life of others when they say, thanks to that person, I changed my life. That's, I think, the most important thing. Rather than saying, oh, this was given by Pepito Perez. I think that we are the ones who can change the other lives. That's all. Thank you so much for your attention. I'm ready for your questions.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Would you like to ask some questions, please? You can do it in Spanish, no problem.
Yes? You have a question? I saw you here. That's a selfie. Like, I'm here like that.
I was here.
Yeah. Do you have any questions? No? This, well, in my opinion, right, when students are quiet, there are two options. They understood everything, they didn't understand anything. There are two options. Did you learn? ¿Aprendieron? Yes? Yes? Okay. So that was the purpose, to share something that I do, and maybe in the future you will be working on that. Now maybe you don't understand at all because you are starting, but then when you start working and you find a person, you will understand this part. So it was a pleasure. We don't have any questions over there? Professors? No? 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 No questions? Was everything clear? So my pleasure. Do you have any questions, Director?
Yeah, so it's difficult. For example, as I was telling you, we have here a blind student, and also we have a student who is in the second semester, but I don't know, autism.
Yeah.
We don't know how to deal with those students, in especially with autism.
Yes, that's
With
right.
the blind, she, as you said, she's able to do everything.
Yes.
Yeah, but not the other one. But also, we can say, no, you can't be here. No,
No.
he's there, and the difficulties, but he is. What can we do because he's continuing in the same semester?
You know that autism is very, we have to read a lot about that, and it's more challenging than a blind person, right? Their attitude, when they deal with this kind of, with this problem, it's important to read and to know the person being guided by the parents, how he or she reacts. Because a person who has this problem, no problem, we can say. It's functional disability, we can say that. They tend to be like isolated to everyone. They cannot work with everyone, right? And another reaction, they get mad easily. Even they can be very furious that moment. I had one student and the student said, bye. I said, what happened to him? And then his mom told me his attitude. They are really intelligent, but you have to focus on, you have to talk to the parent first to see how he works and everything. And he has a guide, and they are easily to get distracted as well. So for that reason, it's important to read and first talk to the parent and see the degree of autism that the person has, in order to know what you can do with him or her, how he works at home, and in that part, it depends on the collaboration work that not only the professor, but also students, and of course at home, they can collaborate to work with that person. And I do accept that it's more challenging than working with a person with physical disability.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Professor Angela. Thank you, please clap for her. Well, in order to finish, I will give you your certificate, but just I will sign. Yeah. Then I can.
No problem, it's okay.
But I can for the photo.
For the photo.
Yes. Thank you, please. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the invitation, and I hope you learned something.
Yeah, they learn at least one of them that they are complicated. But I ask them to listen, yeah.
Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you so much for your attention, and any questions you have, any problems you have with this kind of students, just you can call me, okay? So that's all. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye,
Bye.
bye, bye. Bye.